the edge of the universe, 400 men and women are probing the immeasurable blackness of space. Their leaders are an Earthman with no fear and a stranger with no heart. Travel beyond our time and solar system, into new galaxies, into worlds beyond your dreams. Star Trek, every week, in color on the NBC television network.
Hey, it's Serious Star Trek, and now here's your serious hosts, Larry Young and Johnny Price, PhD. Hey, guys.
Dan Tron. John Price, how are you?
What's happening, fellas?
How's Star Trek?
Doing? Star Trek's what's happening.
Star Trek, so much.
I've been so hung up on formats and like old school media talk show formats and stuff. I figure we just got to free for all it, and let's just talk about what's going on, guys. What's going on, Larry?
Oh man, well, you mean going on in Star Trek? Star Trek, oh my god.
Well, I would say your life or Star Trek, but there's a big intersection in that Venn diagram.
As you can see, I'm wearing this bullshit shirt that I got, that it's that yellow color that I put a Star Trek animated insignia on because I thought this was like the most ridiculous, stupid thing ever. And it turns out that Captain Kirk's going to be in season 2 of Strange New Worlds wearing this exact shirt. So
that's awesome.
I don't even know where to start about Star Trek. Picard.
I didn't discover. I heard that's not even the season 1's not even out yet, and those are sneak peeks at the shooting of season 2, right? So did it already destroy season 1 for you?
Yes.
Well, it was a leaked photo. That's what happened. But there was a leaked photo. Well, and then CBS, Paramount, whatever you want to call them, were like, "Well, we should get ahead of this, and we're just going to announce it." And it's like, well, that doesn't really make sense.
I kind of don't believe that that's a leaked photo because of how good it looks.
Huh.
That's not somebody took a picture getting carrots at the craft services table and tried to get a.
Well, the leaked photo was him standing around with the other actor. And then they put out the promo picture.
I got you. That was first?
Basically photoshopped.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's all nonsense. But yeah, it destroyed it because then they tried to get ahead of it and then said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Anson Mount," because then you and me and Dan and every single Star Trek fan we know went, "What the fuck? We want a Pike show. Why is Captain Kirk in this already?"
Let me play the devil's advocate for a moment, fellas. Isn't there a way that could be done? Like if it was just like really brief cameos and like you just sort of see Kirk in like for 1 second or 2 as a teaser, or do you think they're trying to go full Mandalorian season 2 finale? Like, oh my God, here's Luke Skywalker again because he's our Luke.
Yeah, I don't think.
I just don't understand why. Like, there's no reason. Because, the
reason is because they want to redo the original series.
Well, yeah,
and that's
that's always been the whole.
That's what it is, and that's exactly why they don't understand Star Trek.
But I mean, timeline-wise, it's contemporary, right?
Well, the thing is, Kirk says in Court Martial, he says, or not Court Martial, in whatever it's called, Menagerie. He's like, they're like, "Have you ever met Fleet Captain Pike?" And Kirk's like, "Yeah, like you met once at like a conference or some shit, but no."
So so what if that's just that scene? What if that's all they did and they kept it super canonical?
Maybe, sure.
But
that's not what they're gonna do, though.
These are the guys that have Lon Noonien sing on the crew. There's no way that this is gonna make.
Also, Cadet Uhura is on the crew for some reason. Yeah,
but at least at least they gave her the cadet badge, and they're like,
right. At least they didn't make her like lieutenant.
They're
already.
announcing
like
that
15.
All right, well, it's like what you got to do in Star Trek sometimes. Oh, Chekhov knows Khan because he was downstairs watching his door, and you just kind of squint. All right, so Uhura is a cadet on the Enterprise. That doesn't really bother me as much as, and we can't do anything about Spock, right? Because that's part of the lore. But like, Kirk is nowhere near the Enterprise.
No.
At that time, he's just isn't.
No, he's just off doing his thing.
I'm still gonna say, like, there's a way it could be done in a way I think that could even satisfy like a Larry and a John. Couldn't there be? There has to be. Like we're contemporaries, and it's been established in the original canon that they met once. If they did that scene and did it in such a way that it was reasonable, that sounds like a way you could do it that
but
would work.
That's how you will never satisfy me, because there's no point to that scene. Scene in TV and movies, every scene has to mean something. It has to illustrate the character. It has to drive the plot forward. It has to, show the theme of the thing. It has to mean something. And they never do this on modern Star Trek. No. Like, so bringing Kirk in for like, hey, it's Kirk. Like, you might as well just like do a TV show, I don't know, about pizza places.
So it's funny. I was watching Trek Yards talk about this, and Trek Yards, they're actually pretty even keeled, and they like, they'll find good things in everything, they'll find bad things, whatever. But even there, the comments, which are pretty usually pro new Trek. Even then, the comments were like, no, we want a Pike show. We're so super psyched for getting a Pike show 10 years before Kirk. Like, we don't want Kirk. Like, no, we already have that show. That show already exists. It's like people who want a Luke Skywalker prequel. No, that movie already exists. It's called Star Wars. Hey, John Suntrez.
He's on fire today.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll be right back. Keep it going.
Yeah,
John's completely right that they're incapable of not messing with canon and have to correct the ills of the 1960s Trek. Because I was trying to get through Discovery today. Like, look, I'm leaving it to the last minute. It's the season finale. I should be going crazy, right? No, it's like I can't even finish it, and it's because everybody gets all. I noticed, especially in this one, everybody gets all mad that, like, Burnham is always crying, and it's not that. It's literally every single character are not self-assured. Everyone second guesses what they do. Everyone like has tons of self-doubt. And I'm sorry, man. Space is vast. It's crazy. It's hard. It's cold. The people who go out there are going to be shit kickers. Not like, I can't believe that, my boyfriend's dead from the anomaly. It's no, stop it. Like, when Edith Keeler died, Kirk went, fuck. And then that was the end of the episode, right? And then you go on to the next thing. That's action adventure. It's not like,
there's your problem. They're not trying to make action adventure. They're not trying to make sci-fi. They're not trying to make action adventure. They're trying to make a drama. So they're writing drama stories, which is,
I want to take over Grey's Anatomy and make it an action adventure show then, because somebody has to pay for this nonsense. The world is not in balance, right? If you want Star Trek 90210, fucking do it. It's not the 90210 that's the problem. It's that there is no Star Trek in your drama, right?
Guys, were you able to hear that intro when I started the show, the 60s, the radio commercial?
Yeah, that was great. The man with no heart.
I really thought it was. It's such a summation of like what Star Trek like really encapsulated to what it should be like in a nutshell, and it feels like closer to what your vision of what you guys always say.
And it's interesting because like I'll look at the people who at least they purportedly say that they like Star Trek Discovery, right? And what do they like about it? What do they comment about? What are they always lauding, right? And it's always, oh my God, I can see myself as Burnham, not sure what to do. And it's always stuff like that where it's like, yes, there are absolutely TV shows where you want to identify with the main character and their indecision and they're torn on the inside about what to do. Star Trek is not that. Like action adventure shows, sci-fi shows, that's not what you're watching them for. Like I don't want to watch the captain of the most important ship in the history of the world, saving the universe for the 4th season in a row, crying on the bridge because her boyfriend died. I understand that's a very human emotion, and I understand that, if you're watching it for emotional outbreaks, you probably like it, but that's the wrong reason to watch. Does that make any sense? Because it's like,
yes,
everyone can watch things for whatever reasons they want, but like what? No.
It absolutely makes sense because I was watching. I got up to about that. I was talking to you before the show where they split their Rise of Whiskey, and I got up to the thing where Burnham finds out that Book is dissolved, and she's crying, and it goes on for a good 5, 6, 7 seconds before she steals herself, which is fine. Actress choice. Yeah. Maybe the director had something to do with it. But the entire time I was thinking, well, Rachel Garrett didn't do that in yesterday's Enterprise, right? I mean,
no.
Like these people are all just saps. And I would argue that you don't watch TV to not see people you can, if not admire, at least like understand their point of view, right? And I cannot understand the point of view of anybody on this show. I don't know what they want. I don't know where they're going. I don't know why they make decisions that they do. And when Jet Reno is like the one badass in your show and is on screen for 90 seconds during your hour-long thing, you're doing something wrong.
And this season, Jet Reno looks completely phoned in. Like she's just like, wait, why am I still here? Like, what is going on? Like,
but I think that kind of works for her character. And
it definitely does. Yeah.
I love that. That's what I would do if I was on Star Trek. I would be just like, why?
And I will say, I mean,
I would just start shooting people.
Everyone can laugh at my love of Captain Janeway, but if you want that sort of like, oh well, you don't like it because this is how women process emotion, right? I've definitely seen that argument, and I love Captain Janeway. There are episodes where Captain Janeway is having this huge internal crisis. She's having arguments with Chakotay. She's having arguments with Tuvok. She's having, not the show you want, Larry, but this is the show we got. And we're having these internal moments with Janeway breaking down and everything. And she just does it so much better. And it's so much more well-written. And it's so much more appropriate for the genre, for the franchise. Like she doesn't cry. She's not crying on the bridge. She goes to her ready room and she stares off into the sky, right? And then Neil comes in and says, "Oh, what's wrong, Captain?" And Janeway is like, "Oh, I just need a moment." And he's like, "You're about to cry, aren't you? Here's my soup." And it's like, but you know what I mean, though, where it's like, this has nothing to do with Burnham being an emotional woman, emotional Black woman. God forbid, we bring that up. But it has to do with the fact that it's just not a believable setup. Like, how many people are on this ship? 200 people, maybe, whatever it is. Yeah. And you're telling me that all 200 people are going to sit there and go, "Oh, our captain is a little like crier." Like, that's cool. Like,
it's just not a Starfleet ship. That's all. What's going on?
Hey, you ever notice how every world leader in Trek is a woman? Could we have at least one male leader who isn't a villain?
Are you talking about like right now?
I'm talking because
no, it's the Vulcan general chick and the half Cardassian or whatever, the evolved Cardassian one. Everybody, the general that goes and sacrifices herself. I guess I don't know. I didn't finish the episode, but like I just love that that's the response, even from the team, right? Well, you just don't like women in charge, or much less,
right?
It's like, no, it's just you must know a bunch of losers because every woman in my family is a badass.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, my wife is a scientist. She's a brilliant scientist. She works, she was put in a leadership position recently, and she would destroy Michael Burnham in any of those situations. And she's not like a Starfleet captain type, but she's very much more of a Spock type. And I mean, I can't imagine like Captain Jess going through the same situations as Captain Michael Burnham, like completely different. Right. Like, don't tell me that I stopped myself from arguing with a guy on Twitter earlier today because he was like, every time someone says they don't like Discovery, ask them for specifics, and if they don't have specifics, you all know why. And it's like a picture of like a black woman rolling her eyes.
I have 50 columns for that guy.
That's what I stopped myself from responding. Like, I've literally written like almost like 3 books worth of stuff criticizing
right, exactly.
Like, it's possible. Let's put it that way, Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I think that's completely led by how they got used to doing their audience manipulation stuff.
Yes.
In the beginning. It's like, because you kind of don't hear that from them much anymore. I mean, I never followed their stuff because I'm a big proponent that the work should speak for itself. That like, if you have to, it's like explaining jokes, right? If you have to tell everybody how your story is working and how they missed it, you're just doing 2 things. You're upsetting the audience and making fun of them for not being smart.
And I will give Discovery credit.
You wrote wrong.
I will give Discovery credit because Kurtzman has definitely pulled back. You can tell they are letting Michelle Paradise, from everything I've read, everything I've seen. Michelle Paradise is the showrunner, which it was definitely more recognizable this year that there was one showrunner doing one story. I think she did the last 2 years. But anyway, the point being, like they're not playing those like corporate tricks anymore, like you're saying. Where the problem is they've conditioned their audience, the fans that actually like the show, are already conditioned by those 2015, 16, 17 corporate tricks where they're preemptively calling everyone racist, sexist, whatever, right? And look, I mean, I'm not going to deny a lot of there are criticisms of there that I read them and I'm like, ugh, maybe calm that down there, buddy. Like, all right, we get it. You don't like black women, I get it. But there are also, criticisms that are like, actually, I think she's the best part, but these parts suck over here, So it's a weird thing. But I do want to bring up real quick Star Parlor and Star Podlog and Star Pod Trek podcast has a really good comment here. If you could bring it up, Discovery is pure garbage. We even canceled getting the comics from our poll list. Wow! Of course, I agree with the first part, but the second part is the important part, right? Discovery stuff does not sell. Discovery stuff does not sell. That's the important part, right? So if we're asking the question like, who is this show for? There's some really easy metrics we can look to, and the answer is nobody.
It's interesting you say that, though. We're in the comics realm here, so for a second, I just talked to Paul last week, and he specifically brought up Star Trek comics and talked about how why nobody's ever really done great Star Trek comics is that this is what he said, and he said because anybody who buys that license, they don't feel like they can add anything good to the canon, and so they feel like they just they don't put their best into licensed stuff. And I said John Byrne's giving him the side eye, Larry. I instantly brought up those John Byrne guys, and that's what led to that whole intellectual property thing.
Right.
Blow up that we had.
I think that there are great Star Trek comics, but there's not a lot of them. But I think that recent Star Trek, there's a couple great episodes in the whole thing, but there's not a lot of them, and they're all Lower Decks episodes. But
Sunchers is right. The IDW Trek comics are great. I'm not the comics guy on the panel, so I obviously haven't read all of them. But they look nice. I've seen pictures.
Well, I'm way into comics. I never could get into any Star Trek comics that I ever read. I mean, probably the best that I can think of reading is that Claremont one that we talked about and reviewed, just because art wise and everything, it was there. They always just felt a little, I don't know, a little bit, something is off when you read them. A lot like the old Star Wars comics. Larry, what do you think about that?
Well, the old Star Wars comics, the like really old ones that gave us like Jackson and the Wheel and the stuff that Carmine Infantino has drawn, is because nobody knew what Star Wars was.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I kind of give them a pass on that. And then you got Filoni trying to like make it all work, right? Which is amazing. The same problem with I haven't read Star Trek ones recently except for the Byrne ones, but I read the shit out of when DC had the license right after Wrath of Khan, and Price would love those because they totally got it. They're like, whoever, I think it was it Marv Wolfman that was writing it? I think so.
Could have been.
Yeah, somebody like that, like a Marvel mainstay guy. So he knew how, I mean, a DC mainstay. They know how to do comics, and then they liked Star Trek, so they sort of put comic kind of stories in the Star Trek world, and it really worked. They did their Mirror Universe one is like better than all of the DS9 things put together. And it's sort of like now, like they're all crying like Picard's not the Mirror Universe. It's just some wacky, weird thing that Q did. And it's like, all right, but still, you got to understand where the regular audience member is coming from. If everybody's dressed in black and their insignias are different and you're killing everybody, which, by the way, I'm really glad to see Elnor go.
Oh, man, that was the best part of the whole episode.
Price said something that I was just like, great. It's like Picard, they're kind of cleaning house, right? That they're getting rid of characters that don't do anything or sidelining them, right? Like I don't know what Rafi's doing there, but whatever. Yes. Like you need somebody to run up and down the stairs because Patrick Stewart can't do it anymore. So I just made
I want to get back to it. Suntress is listing names of all the great Trek writers for the comics. So we should definitely come back to that real quick.
Oh yeah,
I do want to say about the Picard show is the setup for season 2 was great. Let's see Captain Rios and his wacky crew go on adventures. That's all we want as Star Trek fans is a wacky crew goes on adventures. They don't understand that. Anyway, okay, back to comics.
No. Let me go riff on that because I agree 100%. Give us the Picard show where he's like Boothby to Rios. Right?
Yeah.
Except they're on a ship. Right. And that thing writes itself, right?
Perfect.
There's no shenanigans. There's no crazy shit you have to keep track of. I don't know. Somebody up top said about Stacey Abrams. Our guys from Pittsburgh doing the heroin burger.
Heroin has popped in. We got a wild crew.
The largeness issue from the 24th century. That's awesome. It's just, can you see though? Like they really cast regular looking actors, which is just that's not an action adventure show thing. The women anyway. I mean, I'm sorry. Where's the hot girl on Star Trek? Like,
I don't even care. Look, the size thing doesn't matter to me. Like the size thing doesn't matter to me. All right, I'm not exactly Fabio over here. Okay, but the thing with Stacey Abrams that pisses me off is she's an active politician running for office
right now.
Why is she being presented as president of Earth? Like, look, and I don't want to hear this bullshit about Star Trek has always been political. Yes, Star Trek is an incredibly political show about social issues, not about endorsing one specific candidate. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat. I don't give a shit what you are, right? Can you imagine if Ron DeSantis was listed as president of Earth? Right in the grand finale, like you know what I mean. Like all of you Democrats, you're gonna. What if Ron DeSantis is all of a sudden president? You're gonna have a specific reaction. All the Republicans. What if Stacey Abrams is listed? Like, give me a break. All right, just get out of that shit. I understand she's a big Star Trek fan. I understand she is. I'm a big Star Trek fan too. I'm pretty fat too. Let's get me on stage as president of Earth.
You know exactly what it is that they don't understand why stuff like that works in Star Trek. Like
they don't understand a lot.
Somebody told them, hey, Stephen Hawking was in Star Trek.
Right.
Mae Jemison, the first black girl, was in Star Trek. right? There's
First black astronaut. Let's not say the first black girl. Just I don't think she was the first black girl ever.
You're right. Obviously, first black star. I was getting so excited about looking.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking
I love May Jameson.
About
we
like
named
how...
one of our puppies May. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's. I was thinking about how fucking great she looked as a Star Trek transporter captain. So I forgot, of course, her real thing is the first African American woman astronaut, which is great. But my head, I'm like, fucking, she looked like she was in Star Trek.
Yep.
You know who doesn't? Everybody in Discovery.
Everybody. It's not.
Hey, Price could pull off President of Earth. Just let him go on one of his.
Dude, I would be very good at being President of Earth.
You'd have to grow like a real
and your
president.
favorite game show, I never realized that your favorite game show has to be The Price is Right. It's one thing.
It's a pretty good show
for Trek, but they are pissing off the right-wing Trek fans by doing it. Why piss off half your...
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I don't even care if you piss off left, right, whatever. But like, just don't do it. Like, you know,
this is so I'm trying to understand her. This is a problem because she is a current politician.
They showed in the last
that's
episode.
my issue.
Yeah. They showed the last episode. It's just like a random. It's like Batman climbing up the thing, and then look, you see Johnny Carson sticking his head out. It's just not. It's not part of it. Like in Next Generation, that Stephen Hawking showed up and he's playing poker with Data,
Isaac
Newton, Isaac Newton, Da Vinci. Like that all makes sense. Like it just doesn't. Hey, here's random Stacey Abrams telling everybody she's the president of Earth, and Earth has joined the Federation again, and it's actually kind of a big deal story-wise, and it falls flat because you're like, what's Stacey Abrams doing there?
But she's not playing herself, Stacey.
No, she's not playing herself, of course.
That would be better.
That actually would be better if they're like, yes, this is Stacey Abrams, the 17th. We've cloned her 17 times.
Or like a clone, yeah. Like we ripped her out of time because we need her.
Says Linda Carter's president of the United States in the Supergirl show was a better idea.
This is also the same show though that very famously name dropped like Elon Musk in season 1. So like they don't have the greatest handle on pop culture references. So anyway,
it's just Kurtzman. He just doesn't have a handle.
It's that whole mentality over there. I don't understand what the issue is. Like, just write a friggin' Star Trek. Like every one of us has written Star Trek in our head.
It's because none of those guys have lived any life. Because writing fiction is just here's an interesting comment on something that you might have happened in your life too. Mm-hmm. Oh, but there's tribbles and we can go faster in light, and that's all salad dressing. These guys all think that's the meal, and it just isn't. They don't tell stories. I can't get over. I don't know what Michael Berman wants, and I don't know how she's trying to get it. Like
she wants basic book. That's what she wants.
I
mean, as presented, right. All she wants is the sexy guy. That's all she wants. Which, fair enough. Whatever.
Yeah, don't we all? But I mean, why do a show about it, right?
Right. That doesn't make you captain material. They they think that's a parallel with Kirk, and I've seen them allude to this in interviews where they think it's a parallel to Kirk. They're like, "Well, Kirk was always trying to get the girl." I'm like, "No, Kirk was in love with the Enterprise."
Yeah. We talked to
we did talk about this on last episode where Kirk's love is the Enterprise. We talked about this Valentine's Day, on my favorite episode we've ever done. And Burnham's love is not Discovery. Burnham's love is Burnham, and it's very obvious that it's written that way. Yeah. So that's
that's Alex Kurtzman for you, right? I mean, that's what I mean about him not living any life. The fact that they gave a guy who was raised in LA in Hollywood the idea of running Star Trek, it's like, I mean, I kind of want to see that show, right? Star Trek Hollywood. Give me that show. Give me any show other than
anything.
Oh, here's what I think you want. No, none of the characters have self-confidence because the showrunners don't have self-confidence. Yeah. You just tell your goddamn story.
Have you guys seen what's that show, Firefly? God, what is that actress's name? The badass black lady. Oh man, what the hell is her name?
Oh, Gina Florence.
Anyway, put her as Michael Burnham, and it's a much different show, right? So look, I've been denying for years and years and years that that Sonequa Martin Green is the problem. I think I'm finally at the point where I'm ready to admit publicly Sonequa Martin Green is the problem, because she is either being told to play incorrectly or she is choosing to play incorrectly. Gina Torres, exactly. She just plays that character all wrong. Like, and put another person, hit those same demographic check marks if you want to play that game, right? Put Gina Torres in there. Put friggin' I don't know. I can literally picture like 10 different actors in my head right now, but I'm terrible with names. And put them all in there, and they're all going to do a better job.
Kerry Washington would crush that.
Kerry Washington would crush it. Kerry Washington hits all the same demographic check marks. She hits all the same societal check marks you want to play, right? She would destroy that role. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
get so.
Jewel State is Tilly. There we go.
The CCH Pounder. Yeah, man. Here's the thing. Where my son and I are cracking through Deadwood, which is pretty crazy. Don't call Child Protective Services. He knows all those swear words already. He knows all those swear words. But we will sit there and he says, "Hey, Dad." I asked him, like, "Are you loving Deadwood?" He goes, "Yeah, it's black sails in the Old West." And I'm like, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But he interacts with all his fiction like that, where it's like, oh, it's like this with its own take. It's like this with its own take. And they don't do that. Like Star Trek: The Next Generation was like Star Trek. Yeah, the first Star Trek was Star Trek in color, right? I love that. It's like you know what you're getting here.
Yeah, in color.
And then Star Trek: The Next Generation is like, it's Star Trek, but we're in the 80s now and the 90s, and we're going to try to embrace. And now stuff is like, it's Star Trek, but only telling you one side of the story. And that's like the opposite of Star Trek.
Yeah, I thought that radio commercial was interesting in that way, because it was like, that was before there was a definition of what Star Trek was, right? So it was like, what is this thing? Now when something's come out, it's like, oh, it's more Star Trek. And
Right.
It doesn't define what that means. It's that mission. I love it. 400 people in like dark outer space in the outer reaches, and discovering things and seeing new stuff.
Yeah, far from home. You can do what you want.
But it has the Star Trek logo, so therefore it's Star Trek. Therefore, you should like it.
That's all it takes,
right? That's literally the mentality they have.
But that's what they should do for their new. They want to do 100 Star Trek shows. Just fucking do Star Trek Black Sails, like Star Trek, full frontal nudity, like Star Trek, just take it. Like that's what they had been doing. That Deep Space Nine was like Star Trek Babylon 5. But it's every show up until now had like a thing. And this has no thing.
And Star Trek Gilligan's Island. That's Voyager.
It's been going on for 4 years. Oh man, I would love Star Trek Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's Lost in Space, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by the way, you guys ever watch that new Lost in Space, the Netflix Lost in Space?
I love it. I think it's great.
Great show.
I was in it for the first season, and I never got back to it, but we did enjoy it. Even my wife and I both.
It improved after the first season, I think. The first season, I'm not sure they knew what they were doing, like where they were headed, in terms of production story. And I think they definitely, once they figured out they were only going to get 3 seasons, they definitely kind of went and wrapped it all up. I thought it was really good. So,
I mean, my only complaint at the time was like it felt like a kid's show or a family show, and then I was like, "Well, it is. That's what."
Right. Literally. Yeah.
I loved it. I think Parker Posey as Dr. Smith was like the best cast.
Brilliant.
That's
brilliant.
5 years. That was great. But that's a bunch of people that know why people like the IP that they're working on, and not just doing whatever the hell they want with it.
So I think this is a good moment to remind our very rabid audience in here. that you too can win a Quatloo. All you have to do is say something funny and tell us how great we are and send us money. I was basically joking, but not really. Okay. Yeah, if you say something funny, we'll pick the best comment at the end of the show. Send you a Quatloo. You can show it off to your friends, and maybe your dog won't eat yours.
John said the showrunner for asking who the showrunner is for Pike. It's Akiva Goldsman. So that's gonna yeah. That's why Captain Kirk.
This is why I don't want to know. See, right. Ignorance really is this, because I had hope until I found that out.
I can predict already what's going to happen. I'm going to love season 1 of Strange New Worlds, and then they're going to start Strange New Worlds season 2, and I'm going to just be like, you guys, you're taking the wrong message from John and me and Dantron bellyaching, and they'll just screw it up. At least, I
think they're going to start off with a strong. This is my prediction. They're going to start off with a strong first episode and premise, and then they're going to do some weird twist where Spock has to clip his toenails or something, and then
Spock's got dyslexia.
Oh my god! No, he doesn't. That's not a thing.
How about this for a confusing comment? I don't. Oh wait, not that one. This one.
You guys are the height of okayness.
I don't get it. So there's so many. We're in this world where
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I hear new words and phrases all the time. Like Larry, we were on a show once and somebody said Larry or one of us was based, and I thought they were misspelling biased.
Huh.
That's funny.
And based, that's a whole new thing, man. You're fact
what is that?
Larry. You're fact based.
Oh, all right.
No, based means you're awesome. It's like a compliment.
That's the opposite of cringe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learning.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's not what it should mean, but that is what it means. It should mean you're freebasing. That's what it should mean.
Have you seen Foundation? Is there a new Foundation?
Yeah.
There is. And I haven't seen it. I
watched the first 20 minutes and I was like, I don't care. Click.
Where is that playing?
HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
That explains it, because on my March of Independence, I can't see. I'm not even trying not to look at those things, but so much is seeping in. Like that picture of Kirk looking like Jim Carrey. I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah. Some guy on my Facebook was like, I don't see Jim Carrey there. And I'm like, I don't have anything to say to you, pal.
I mean, it was exactly like Jim Carrey.
Maybe it is Apple TV. Yeah, I think Sega.
There's have you guys seen promotions for the new Halo TV show?
Yeah.
It's on Paramount Plus. It actually kind of looks. I kind of want to watch it. I'm like, yeah, let's watch some Halo, man.
From what I understand, the main inspiration for Halo, the video, it's based on the video game, right?
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. Master Chief and all that stuff, right? Yeah. From what I understand, the main inspiration for that was Starship Troopers. It's always coming back to Starship Troopers for me somehow.
All I can say is I love that Master Chief is in that show, and they better not take his helmet off. If they take Master Chief's helmet off, I will destroy my television.
Yeah, they better not. I don't care. I just want him to shoot things.
My kid and I play the sit down thing at Dave & Buster's for Halo. We go through all 6 things at once. It tastes like $30 worth of tokens. And so we're on fire for that show. That's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It looks like Foundation's on Apple TV. The folks are
there. You know. Yeah. No, your point was it's corporate TV, so you're not going to see it.
I played so much Halo in college. I would be driving down the road and I would be watching for snipers. Like that's how into Halo I was in college. It was pretty great. Like I was just always playing Halo. I got pretty good at it for a little while.
That's bass rapper a little bit.
That's it.
That's it. That's the story. Akiva Goldsman, writer of Batman and Robin movie. Sad choice for Czech. Well, I have bad news for you, my friends. He wrote the first 3 episodes of Star Trek Picard. So, or the first 2? Maybe it was just the first 2. Either way,
I know Shaban was in that.
He's very involved in all the non-Discovery properties, which is a huge issue in my life.
Yeah, I can't wait until I don't care about Star Trek.
Shaban should be blacklisted. I'm sorry. Anyone? I mean, the dude kills.
Yeah.
Like literally, he either came up with the idea or he approved the idea of Jean-Luc Picard getting killed and turned into a robot. He should be blackballed right there. Right there. I would rather work with a communist than work with a guy who kills Jean-Luc Picard. That's all I'm saying. Right?
They just don't know where the bread's buttered, that's for sure. Like I get it.
And I will say, I think everyone needs to be conscious of that fact so that they notice how out of the way they're going in season 2 to not mention it.
I think
like it's still
funny,
there.
Actually,
like if you're watching, it's still there. They're like, oh, he can't hear the collective anymore, but they don't mention why. And it's like they never remind the audience too deeply that he's actually a freaking robot. Because he's not a person.
They go out of their way to not do it. He's like drinking wine and hitting on girls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, come
like
on,
don't you feel old age? And it's like, why would he? He's
not really. I'm 7 weeks
old. He doesn't feel anything. Oh, but he bled when he punched him. Like, wait, what? No. Yeah. Data never bled.
Does he have like super strength and stuff?
Nope.
No, because the worst part of killing Picard is that they give him this android robot body, and then in the episode they go, "Yeah, but you still have the same limitations as your real body." And he makes a joke, and he's like, "You couldn't give me 5 more years," and they're like, "Nope."
Because that would be dumb.
That's an odd choice.
Right, that would be terrible. Right?
That's like if you got like your hip replaced and they just gave you like a shitty, rusty.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Hey, I broke my toe. Well, good luck. You know, we're gonna give you a different broken toe. Like, no, it's stupid. It's all stupid. They're all stupid.
You can't break a robot toe. That was, planned obsolescence. Your body's only lasting another 5 years anyway, or however long Patrick Stewart continues to live.
I mean, and Data's whole thing was that he could live forever, technically. Anyway, John Suncherez, friend of the show. Price is Right again. I love when you say that. Shavon's Trekkies things are all wrong. Obsessed with Spock smiling in the cage. Yes, exactly. They obsess over all these stupid little details they think real Trekkies will get. It's like, no, real Trekkies just say, no, that's stupid. Move on, or moving on.
The best thing is they don't produce new stuff like that, though, right?
Yes.
Like what they did with the Guardian of Forever is just so pointless and stupid. And when they went to Talos 4, it's like, oh look, here's the plants that make the chime sound. Like, dude, that's not why people like Star Trek.
The Guardian of Forever is not a good episode because he's an old guy reading the newspaper.
I know. What?
You know what I mean? Like, no. Yes. The Guardian Forever is not the interesting part of that episode, you morons. Like, that's the plot device to get you to the story. Like, what?
But that's how you get, Gorn skeletons and giant tribbles and
it's real
all the stuff that is so atonal and wrong. And I don't know.
Well, it's like in Picard. The second episode when Q's walking him around, the evil Picard chateau, and he's like, here are all the skulls of your enemies, and they're like, here's General Martok. You remember General Martok, right? And he looks directly into the camera, and he's like, you remember General Martok, It's like, it's so stupid. Like,
you expect a little thing in the closed caption to tell you which episode to go watch in case you don't. right? Right. Like the old Stan Lee thing.
Right. They're like, click here and watch it on Paramount Plus. Chris has got a good point though. I think John Delancey's doing a good job. He's only really been in the one episode. He's had little seconds here and there, but I really liked he just knows how to ham it up. He's been Q for such a long time. He knows how to do it. I'll give him credit.
I'm with Chris though. They handled that whole time thing with aplomb, right?
Yeah.
It's like, here's a quick thing. You don't get a good look at it, so you can't tell us that it doesn't look like a Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then you just move on to the show.
Yeah.
But, okay, why don't they do that literally every second for their
and that's kind of the sad thing with Picard season 2 is it actually is better than season 1 in so many ways. Like in so many different ways, it's so much better than season 1, but it's still, and I mean, they've gotten a lot better this year at actually creating what is actual serialized storytelling, where, you know, each episode directly leads into the next episode. They're doing it for like the first time in franchise history, even though they say they've done it. So we don't really know. We're only on episode 3. Like, there's so much more story that could, you know, reveal itself. So I'll give them credit. I'll give them benefit of the doubt. And, you know, I like that they're streamlining the cast. I like that they're giving people better witty banter. I like that 7 of 9 is more important because they figured out, they're like, oh crap, everybody loves 7 of 9. Why didn't we think of this? And then the narrator goes, because you don't know Star Trek. And then so I like all the I like a lot of things in season 2. I just don't like season 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
There's tons of, I mean, that's why we keep watching, right? There's tons of stuff that we like about it, but it's just in service of nonsense.
I just want to say again, for the record, I hate the fact that they felt like they needed to slut up the little Irish Romulan lady, whatever her name is. Like when she threw herself at the card, that pissed me off so much. It's like, why? Like, first of all, these are like older people, right? She's not going to be like going around dressing like she's like 18, being like, "Ooh, come here, JL. You want to tap some Romulan?" Like, no. She's like, "Hey, I want to have this meaningful relationship with you in the last, you know, 2 days of your life." You know, she's not going to like, put porn makeup on. Like, get out of here. That drove me nuts.
Yeah, anyway. I don't know if it was that bad. She just
drove
like
me nuts.
There was a big a gulf between her previous appearances. Like it looked like she had like a clean, enjoyable shower, which you know, but she was, you know, it's two different things, right? She was working in the vineyard, and then that her entire character was ignored until like now she's like, she did her hair and put on some makeup and is bearing her heart to a robot. Like what?
That's
whatever.
the other thing.
Yeah,
haven't you ever loved? It's like, well, I've been active for 2 years and 3 days. Anyway, Shaban is from Pittsburgh. Well, there's a reason to dislike him.
Hey,
that's enough right there. That's all I need.
Yeah, I went into that last time. Pulitzer, really? Anyway,
Tribbles are all meat. I love that comment. That's I'm starring that comment.
Only because
yeah, I've put so much effort, into making Tribble meat in my day.
It's true.
And everybody also knows our sponsor. We should mention for a moment our sponsor, Tribble. It's what's for dinner. So make sure to pick up the most available source of protein in the event that the food synthesizers are down.
That is just horrible.
It's what's for dinner.
Yeah. That's I don't know.
So do we want to talk about Discovery and like the actual plot and what happened?
I mean, you can. Yeah, it's you know.
Nothing. Nothing happened.
That's why I was like, I guess you can. Well, like, I can't wait. I don't have anything to
They ripped off like 7
anything.
different movies. They straight up ripped off Arrival. Like, there's that one scene, I think it was like a couple episodes back, where like the alien is revealing himself and they're all standing in front of this big screen. It's literally out of Arrival. Like, but instead of the lady in Hawkeye, it's Michael Burnham. Like, it's ridiculous. They're so bad. Anyway, it's this alien that wants to get minerals, and they didn't know they were killing people, so they stopped.
And
that's the whole thing.
And they
isn't that Star Trek? That's so Star Trek, you guys. I'm so glad they're back to making Star Trek again.
I mean, at least they took a stab at a science fiction idea. Like last episode was great. They showed like an alien planet and some alien shit happening. And then this one, it's like, oh look, it's a CGI Cthulhu. Like everything, it's just they're just so creatively bereft. I don't understand. Like, if you get $150 million an episode, why isn't everything in that show? Everything.
That's the part that kills me, man. If you give me $150 million to make a Star Trek episode, you can give me $15 to make a Star Trek episode, and it's going to be better than the stuff they're coming up with. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
I'll bring the uniforms.
We should start selling merchandise that says "Tap some Romulan" on a T-shirt, so Chris can buy one. Yeah,
merch.
double entendres.
Oh yeah, love tapping that.
I will say, John Suncher says the triple short track is one of the most egregious misstep in rewriting Trek history. It's done all over, and he's got a very good point. The only issue is it has H. John Benjamin in it, and if you want to get normal people like my wife to watch Star Trek, you put funny people like H. John Benjamin, and they don't care about tribbles. They just want to see him be funny. And she was like, "Yeah, it was good," and I'm like, "Sold. I'll take it."
I thought it was funny. I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was hilarious.
But that's the thing. They have 8 minutes of good Star Trek in them. 8 minutes at a time.
Yep.
I actually even like Chevon's Calypso episode. I thought
Calypso's
that was pretty good.
Not
nice
Star
science
Trek
fiction in it, but
it was just a little sci-fi short. It was nice.
Yeah, except now Zora the computer's in it, and it's all.
Well, yeah, because they realized they wrote themselves into a corner. Like, oh shit!
I can't wait. I think it was. I forget who said this. I think it might have been Sagasag. That was like, I just can't wait until this is over so we can forget that it ever existed. Just no one's going to be talking about this show. No one's ever going to bring this show up as, oh, remember when that cool thing happened?
Because cool things don't happen.
I
like you say, Larry, they don't create those moments.
Trek is big enough that you could have a whole series kind of forgotten, and then there's still so much of it.
Yeah, Enterprise.
Yeah.
Enterprise is forgotten. No one cares about Enterprise.
Yeah. I wish that was different, because near the end, that was getting great. But nah, come on. They were tying it into the old show at least.
The problem with Enterprise is I love Scott Bakula in Quantum Leap. I do not love Scott Bakula as a Starship captain. I'm sorry. And the only time it ever worked was when they went on this little like weird post 9/11, like we have to go kill aliens thing. And Scott Bakula was like, "Oh, we have to kill aliens," and then it kind of worked. But other than that, he's just never. And then there was the one episode he tried hitting on the captain of the Columbia, and that was cool. But other than that, it was fine.
I didn't watch it. They destroyed Florida in post 9/11, and then
that was weird.
Then I heard
it was a weird choice.
Then I heard they were on the Defiant, and I'm like, oh, I'll check that out.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Those were good episodes.
Okay, we don't have time to rate every Star Trek series, but we maybe have time to rate the worst from the bottom. Like, is this bottom of the barrel Star Trek series?
TNG season 1 is definitely bottom 5.
Yeah, that's not good.
TNG,
are we doing whole seasons like that?
How can you say that? Because it was good enough to like get us in and get the ratings and like make it
DS9 season 1 and 2 are also bottom 5.
But that wasn't the reason TNG worked, is because of the environment. They were setting up the whole PTEN network, and so that worked because there was nothing else, right? That was Star Trek. And then
also the building blocks are there. Like, oh, cool characters,
Well, they got a little hampered by the second season writer's strike too, I was gonna say. And even then pulled it out because they had Star Trek Phase 2 scripts on the side, and they filmed like 3 of those without changing a word. They just changed that episode, The Child, with it's the one where they fly through a space alien fog, and it turns into a baby, and they have to deal with that.
I believe that's the first of Deanna Troy's rapes.
But that was supposed to be Stephen Collins and Persis Kambata. That was so, and they didn't change, and so of course it's a little atonal because the show changed underneath it after that, right? Yeah. So, but even generic Star Trek things where you can change the name is still better than Discovery.
Discovery's bad, man.
Well, where would you place it in relevance to Enterprise? Better or worse?
Discovery's worse than Enterprise, that's for sure.
Enterprise was on for 5 years, and I think I only watched 2 of those years.
Wow,
so
that surprises me, Larry. I really thought you would have been into it.
It's
like that should have been your show, is what I mean.
The reason I didn't like Enterprise is because it's not a Star Trek show. The like Star Trek that I know would be like fucking Warp 5. Are you joking? I would have once an episode something going wrong on the ship to the point where they don't even really talk about it. You know, it's like, you know, the old show, they'd be like, gravity is down to 0.8. And that was just the thing you heard 3 times an episode. I would just be like, you know, Deck 3 bulkhead has collapsed. You know, because,
complete decompression.
right,
In the alley.
you know, we lost 5 guys again. I hope they paid you for their poker game. Because space is hard, right?
Yeah.
The first ship that's going out there at speed of light, warp 5, is going to get into shit. And they're just traveling around like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, look, that happened.
I mean, in the original,
there's some kind of time war. Oh, let's forget that. And I think that's why I won't give up on Discovery, because I gave up on Enterprise. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna ride this one into the ground and see what happens, and it's just worse in a different way.
Because you're right. Even by Kirk's day, it was like you're losing 2 or 3 red shirts an episode or more, right? So it's like
there's a kill Ben Finney button on the captain's chair. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
they started with 400 at the end of that 5-year mission, right? Because they're not replenishing on that original 5-year mission, right? It's just deep space and back, I guess. Maybe it's a round trip. I don't know.
No, they picked up guys in Starbases and stuff.
Oh, okay. So they would replenish the crew and whatnot.
Yeah. But it's a 5-year mission.
I would love to just like, because that was a big part of some. It's like, oh yeah, we lost 20 guys on our last trip. We need, 20 fresh recruits.
Yeah, there's a TV aspect of that though. Like, how many shuttles does Deep Space Nine have? In Space 1999, like Alan Carter's crashing an Eagle every episode, and where do their extra Eagles come from? Yeah. I don't. That stuff doesn't really bother me. It's the internal consistency just does not exist. That's like nobody acts like they should. That's all. And I think it's such a funny thing that their response to that is like, well, you just don't understand Star Trek. And it's like, nah, guys like us have been watching Star Trek for 50 years. Like Price could write a Star Trek episode drunk in his sleep. I mean, I bet he has.
I'm really trying.
but understanding the property that you're working for should not be a trick in television. Like I've read so many.
Tony says Voyager is his least favorite.
Yeah,
well, Tony, you're not getting a Quatloo this week.
Dude, you just blew your Tribble comment.
He's like, I'm going to sleep on my 17 Quatloos I have already, right?
No more. No more for
I
Tony.
thought the concept of Voyager was one of the coolest and was one of the most like return to Trek series concepts that they ever had. And it's not kind of like it didn't live up to it so much.
Yeah.
To be honest, my worst thing, my least favorite thing was that Chakotay dude, right? Like in the pilot episode, they were like a terrorist group. And then by this one episode in, he's wearing
one episode later.
Yes, sir. No, sir. That was completely unbelievable to me.
Yeah, he's like disciplining people for not being Starfleet enough. It's like, dude, you're terrorists.
Like, what the fuck?
Someday I'll write my generation ship story that Voyager should have been. Like, if you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, you don't have clean uniforms after season 1. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. That should have been crazy, that show, and it was just normal. And that's why I don't like Janeway. Although she's better than Genevieve Bujold, who talk about not understanding what she was there for. Have you ever seen that? The first one they cast for Janeway? Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah. She's a French actress named Genevieve Bujold, who's amazing, but not the person you cast for Star Trek. Because there's no way to do all the techno babble and stuff if you're a emoting French actress. Like, let's consider all the philosophical underpinnings of this. And
she would be great in Discovery. She doesn't have to know she doesn't have to know anything about science or operations.
What a funny thing to say.
She doesn't,
Yeah, you'd be great in Discovery, pal.
You'd be great as a Discovery actress.
What a horrific insult.
Was supposed to ever get to Katharine Hepburn on Star Trek. That's who she always reminded me of,
Yeah.
That works for me. Well, Discovery's over. All we got now is Picard. And then Strange New World is coming some point in the future. And then Lower Decks is supposed to be in the summer, I believe. So we can all finally be happy in the summer.
It is. It's getting so. Discovery is personally insulting me.
Guys, that sound means that's the bottom of the Star Trek barrel being scraped as they run out of concepts for new series. But we didn't get a chance to get into some of the stuff we wanted to talk to, but you did touch on Space 1999 only briefly, Larry. So I want to take us out with a little bit of Space 1999. And
thanks for coming, everybody.
And guys, I want to remind you, hey, if you have a moment from the show that you really love, there's one way that you can share it, right? You can cut a serious snippet, okay? If you go down below and click on that little scissors thing, right? It'll let you pick out a 1-minute clip from the series from any episode of any YouTube video and snip it and share it with your friends. So cut out a serious snippet, and I'll tell you what, we've got a Quatloo coming in the mail for the serious snippet that is the best and brings in the most traffic to one of our serious episodes. So make that thing happen, and you can have super quats for yourself. Guys, I'll bring us out with Space 99. Anything left to say before we take off, guys? Anything to hype?
Yeah, nothing to hype yet.
I just wrote a summary of everything I think about Star Trek. Check it out. It's on the internet. Don't read it. Whatever.
What, your Medium article? Your Medium article was great, man. You should have, read it.
Fun fact: I did it in an hour.
And check us out. Maybe not next week. We didn't hear back from Mimi, but you'll.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. We'll find out.
If not next Friday, then the following Friday. And hey, John, where is that going to be?
Where's what going to be?
Where's our next show going to be?
Oh, our next show? Yeah. It's on the internet.